Siomra beag.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Sure Look, Sure Listen, the podcast that takes a pop at culture. Sure Look, Sure Listen.
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 Sure look, sure listen. Very good, Benjamin, if a little bit low energy because of your impending sickness and doom. But look, we don't have any time to get into your medical history. I'm sure it's a minor flare-up of the old HIV/AIDS because we've got a ton of trailers to look at, including Wes Anderson's new film, Asteroid City, which you can't say without saying ass. Also, Unicron Warriors, Ben, The Revenge of the Transformers, and Marvel Studios. How many Samuel L. Jacksons are there? So many, it's Secret Invasion. Plus, trailers for Extraction 2, this time there's more Hemsworth. And, about half an hour ago, Blue Beetle, a new trailer. Plus, would you believe? It keeps going. This just keeps going. The Rock, Hollywood's own Dwayne The Rock Johnson, has just made a major, if boring, announcement. And you've seen all of The Madalorian, I believe, and we're going to have a quick chat about that. And the two of us have seen the new Dungeons & Dragons movie, Honor Among Thieves. And we're going to do a little bit of spoilers for it because it's now out on general release.
Sure, listen, Michael, if that wasn't enough, and it really is, we're chock-a-block this week. We have put ourselves through the torture of 2 Exhumed episodes in a row, Michael, and this served as a strong reminder as to why we don't do that. Last week, Michael, we took a look at the spectacularly challenging world of the Dungeons & Dragons movie from 2000, and this week we watched the spectacularly challenging Super Mario Bros. From the 90s with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. Michael, Jesus Christ.
Some fascinating stuff going on. Speaking, Benjamin, of challenging filmmakers, there's a new Asteroid City trailer from your favourite filmmaker, Wes Anderson.
Michael, I love a symmetrical frame.
You do?
I love a Jason Schwartzman.
You do? You're mad for him.
I'm absolutely mad for him. I love a Tom Hanks.
Oh yeah, Tom Hanks, yeah.
Thanks, as I call him. I love a bloody Scarlett Johansson.
Oh yeah. Too much, some people say.
Some people would say that, yeah. I don't know if I'd agree with them. But yeah, in general, Michael, it's got a whole cavalcade of people in this, Michael. And it's not straying too far from what old Wes enjoys. There's a very set pastel-esque colour palette.
Oh yeah, I saw it, yeah, pink.
Bloody yellows and light blues, Michael.
Light blue, yeah.
A lot of light blues. Everybody looks to be white or white adjacent, Michael. Very important.
White adjacent. I hope white adjacent becomes a new term in the gender and race discourse stemming from this podcast.
I think that's generally what boring white people try and say to give themselves a bit of spice on top.
Oh, yeah.
On
their podcasts.
I'm not really white. I'm white adjacent because I'm Irish, so that doesn't really count.
We're a form of white. Benjamin, what's Wes Anderson up to now, though? Is this set in the now times or is it set in the past times? You can never tell with Wes Anderson because of anachronisms.
Michael, he enjoys kind of creating a bizarre hyper reality where lots of different things meld together from different time periods, so that you're left going, "What is this?
What's going on here?"
Now, Michael, it looks to be heavily in the style of a classic Hollywood B movie.
Go on. I'd love to hear more about that.
Well, I mean, it's no new trick of Wes Anderson to use strange kind of kitsch, on-the-nose special effects, something that looks very homemade, Michael, if you will. We see a lot of that in this. We see a big old spaceship made of tinfoil.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we see a big old closed mini bottle set where everyone's sitting in a closed little room. It's like a stage play, Michael, but if it had a massive budget. And yeah, I think Wes Anderson likes to tell you that it's all a stylistic choice. I think he's just skimming a ton off the top, Michael.
He's just cheap, Benjamin. Now, Benjamin, we've started a new trend where I'm introducing a lot of the lingo and terminology of the youth.
Go on, yeah.
And I have to say that for me, this trailer was giving nope.
Giving nope, was it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Michael, what do you think that means?
I think it means that it was giving off vibes of being like the movie Nope.
Yeah, okay, it was giving nope. I understand what you mean now, Michael. Thank you for once again braving the youth, the Gen Z,
I was on TikTok, Ben. I'm going on TikTok. I've got a little notebook.
It's
a digital notebook.
It's because we're on TikTok now.
We're up on
Michael.
TikTok. Yeah. And I'm just writing down what the young people are saying.
Yeah, you're just taking notes. Notes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Michael, it's got Nope vibes. It's got... I'd imagine if Wes Anderson was making this around the same time, he's kicking himself now going, oh, fuck.
God damn, that Jordan Peele got out ahead of me.
God damn it, he got out ahead of me. There's a lot of Big Sky Country. There's a lot of classic Roswell vibes. There's a lot of aliens are coming to get us. Are they good? Are they bad? Should we worship them? Who's to say?
Who is to say? Well, probably the aliens.
The heart of it, Michael, I would imagine there is, more than likely, a dysfunctional Jewish family.
Yes, and they'll probably be all standing around saying weird things to each other and people not really reacting.
And I'd imagine that one Thomas Hanks is probably going to be a gruff, stern figure.
Yeah. Was Bill Murray not available?
I don't know, Michael. That's what interests me. I was like, oh, where's Bill? Bill's in all of these. Where's Bill?
Maybe he was too busy filming his vital plot-shifting cameo in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Yeah, what a role, Michael. A real career definer.
Wasn't it? It was shit.
It was really bad. A waste of Bill Murray is what I would say. Speaking of bizarre cameos in Marvel things, Michael, did you see the trailer for Secret Invasions?
I did, I saw it. Yeah. Who's in it? That was a bizarre cameo.
They may as well have called it the British Invasion, Michael.
Oh, very good, because it's got Emilia Clarke in it.
Olivia Colman, Academy Award winner Olivia Colman.
The Queen of England herself, Olivia Colman.
Martin Short is back. It's not Martin Short.
It's Martin Freeman.
Freeman.
I would love Martin Short. Yeah, I'd love Martin Short playing his character from Inner Space.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be enjoyable. I'd watch that. So we got the trailer finally, Michael, some would say, for Marvel Studios. This comes with their announcement, Michael, that they'll be slowing down their yearly output.
Probably good.
Probably a smart move. Probably should have been the first thing they looked at when things weren't going great, as opposed to, no, what if we tried it this way, though? And it's like, I don't think it's anything to do with, the amount you're putting out. I think, if anything, you could tone it back, just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, a lot of what we've made recently has been rubbish, so should we just make more and faster?
Yeah, that'll probably keep people interested, won't it? Just throw as much of it at them as they can.
Benjamin, speaking of Marvel and its trials and tribulations, we didn't really talk last week because it happened moments before we recorded, but Victoria Alonso was fired from Marvel. Yes, long-time producer. Head of VFX.
Head of VFX. That's very bad. Yeah, she was fired, Michael.
And thrown right under the bus. The minute she was fired, the whole industry jumped on her and basically said she is the person responsible for the poor working conditions and the fact that movies made these days look worse than movies made 20 years ago.
I don't think that's true.
People seem pretty convinced.
She's the reason.
Yes.
I don't know. There's a smack of misogyny off that one.
I don't know. We're forever blaming big studio. I don't think this is about being a man or a woman. I think this is about Marvel have been blamed for leading the race to the bottom in terms of paying VFX studios. And as the head of that, good old Victoria Alonso, who's now been fired, is getting thrown under the bus.
Yeah, pretty harsh response from the gang over at Disney. But everybody piled on, Michael. Everybody just in, elbows swinging, just fuck you, Victoria. Fuck you.
Yeah. I don't know if it does reek of misogyny, though, because it's not like they said the special effects industry has really gone downhill because she kept having her period.
They made a few. Misogyny comes in many forms, Michael. It's not just period-related humour.
I thought it was.
No, it's not. No, misogyny is
that's what it was in the 70s, Ben.
No, misogyny is quite a broad topic, Michael. But in general, there's been quite a few firings from Marvel of lately. Noted bad egg, Ike Perlmutter is gone.
He's gone. They got rid of Ike.
Ike is out, as they'd say. So him
Look,
and Victoria
Benji-
were dropped. I think this is as you said, Michael, a race to the bottom, but it's also a saving our skins kind of vibe, because I would imagine there's a lot of pressure on Marvel at the moment from Disney saying, here, you were the most successful franchise in movie history. What's this trek? What's this nonsense?
Did anyone see She-Hulk? What were you doing?
What was that? What was that?
Yeah, and like only 2 or 1.5 of the episodes of Moon Knight were any use, lads. Come on. But sure, look, Ben, this level of churn is never a good sign.
Go on.
I just think this is the same Marvel is now DC. This level of inside discontent is never a good sign for the stuff that's being produced.
It's no good. It's
It's
good.
the end, Ben. This is the end. This is the end of the era of the superheroes. Maybe we're about to see the beginning of the new era of the resurgence of fantasy based around the ever-growing popularity of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, Michael. Bizarre. Was that your cue for a little segue there?
No, it wasn't a segue. No.
No.
Speaking of fantasy, you showed me a very interesting trailer for a cartoon, which I thought looked great, Benjamin.
It looks very good. It's called Unicorn Warriors Eternal, Michael.
What's
Unicorn
going on?
Warriors Eternal. It's Gennedy Tartakovsky, Michael.
That's an approximation of that man's name.
I think it's correct, but I could be wrong.
It's not.
What's his name?
No, let's go with Gennedy
I'm going to
Tartakovsky.
look it up now. Michael, it's him off the Samurai Jacks.
Yeah. It was close. You got most of the syllables right, Ben. It's Gennedy Oh, now I don't know. Now I can't remember. You absolute son of a bitch.
Anyway, this seems to have a distinctly D&D vibe to it, Michael.
Do tell.
It's based around Eternal Warriors, or Avatar-based warriors, Michael.
Okay.
And it's Genndy Tartakovsky.
Yeah, that sounds right.
What did I say?
Not that.
Right, fair enough. But anyway, Michael, we're going to be getting a new thing from him. He had a very bizarre hit with Primal. I don't know if you saw Primal, Michael.
I didn't.
Not many people saw Primal. Primal was a completely dialogue-free series about a caveman who forms an alliance with a T-Rex.
Moon Boy and Devil Dinosaur.
A little bit like that. I've seen the first episode of that and I didn't put it on the running order, Michael. We'll get back to that in a second. But so you got 2 seasons out of that, Michael, and it was just them following their primal adventures across a prehistoric landscape. It's very good. Very good, Michael. But now we're going to get Unicorn Warriors Eternal. And it looks to be a rotating set of 4 characters who come up against a great evil.
Oh, that's very Dungeons and Dragons-y.
Very Dungeons and Dragons. What is playing music?
I don't know. Are you playing music?
I can't win.
Ben's brain is
win today.
absolutely addled, ladies and gentlemen. This is great stuff.
But Michael, it
What is
looks to be the definition of a TTRPG. That is to say, a tabletop role-playing game.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, it ties in with that whole idea of writing a character, having your backup character should any foul play befall your original character, etc., etc., etc. Very, very interesting stuff, Michael. It looks fun. In general, Mr. Tartakovsky delivers a really solid cartoon. I'm a massive Samurai Jack fan, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing this as well. I think it's going to be an excellent addition.
Yes, very exciting and interesting. I too am a big Samurai Jack fan, and I loved his Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Ben.
It was very, 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 very good.
Very good stuff altogether. Speaking of surprisingly good things, we did enjoy Extraction, didn't we?
I think so.
I think we did, didn't we?
On purely face value, Michael, yes, we did.
I think I remember enjoying it and thinking, well, there was a film that didn't need any sequel/origin story.
Yeah, there is a nicely tied together narrative, having gone through a full length, and we definitely don't need any more of that.
Netflix weren't listening though, Ben, because
No.
they've given us more of that.
They've given us more of that. Yeah, very good. Excellent timing from both of us there, Michael. Well done.
Thank you. They've done it looks like it's going to be a sequel/origin story.
Do you think it's going to be an origin?
Isn't it? Is it not like Where's His Wife or whatever? Oh, where's my wife?
Oh, is there a bit more of that? You think it's that? I thought, based on the brick to the back of the head, Michael,
Yes, go on.
I thought that he was reliving what he'd already gone through.
Yes, a flashback.
A flashback, yeah. So maybe it's very hard to tell, Michael. What we get, Michael, is a very intense action sequence.
Everyone's fighting Chris Hemsworth.
Very good use of a riot shield, though, wasn't it?
That's how you use them.
That's not how you use them, Michael. I did find myself questioning the physics of what Chris Hemsworth was pulling off in that initial kind of tete-a-tete with the lads. I was like, surely there's wind resistance. Surely you can't get that kind of dynamic speed.
Oh yeah, no, Chris Hemsworth can though.
Chris Hemsworth can because he's a big jacked man.
He's a big jacked man. He's got a special workout program and steroids.
And significantly higher risk of Alzheimer's.
Associated with steroids?
No, associated with him. He does a bizarre show called Limitless on National Geographic.
What is he?
Where he looks at kind of unusual human achievements and advances in medicine, fitness,
go on.
sports. And he found out on one episode of that, Michael, that he is at an unusually high risk of developing Alzheimer's later in his life.
Because he keeps getting hit in the head with bricks?
No, he has a genetic predisposition.
Oh no, that's not what you want to find out.
Yeah, so he's taking a large break from acting, Michael. Obviously not anymore, but yeah, he was taking a large break to spend time with family and kind of adjust to this awful information.
Oh no.
Yeah, no good.
No,
This looks
no
good though, doesn't it?
Does it?
It
definitely looks like it's happening.
I like a Chris, and I think it's fair to say we can say a Chris now, Michael.
Yes,
It could be a Chris Pine, it could be a Chris Evans.
Yeah,
it's preferably not a Chris Pratt.
Your favourite Chris Pratt?
Yeah, no, not my favourite, Michael, but thank you. Or a Chris Hemsworth. I'll take a Chris in an action scene, Michael. Just slot them in, watch them go. They're like little wind-up action heroes, Michael.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan,
noted stuntman Christopher Nolan. All-round badass. Yeah.
Christopher Lee,
who was actually a bit of a badass, Michael. I will never recover from the amazing story told by Peter Jackson on how he corrected the actor playing Wormtongue on what it sounds like to be stabbed. I was like, so dark.
Uh-oh. Anyway, Benjamin, we didn't think we were going to get it on time, but we did. We saw a trailer for Imagine If Iron Man was Venom and Spider-Man.
Yeah, Michael, we got a trailer for Blue Beetle.
Yes.
And I didn't even know this was happening.
I thought it was my imagination. I saw a poster for it, I think, when we went to see a film the other day. Oh, it wasn't you, it was me and Jim. When we went to see... What did we go to see, Ben, in the square the other day?
It was one of the 3 films that you saw last week.
The one that we forgot.
Shazam!
Yeah, I saw a poster for Blue Beetle in the cinema when I went to see Shazam. I said, what? There's a Blue Beetle film? And Benjamin, I do a weekly pop culture podcast, focused mostly around comic book movies and TV shows, and I didn't know this was coming out.
I had no idea, Michael.
Yeah. So how do you think that's going to do with the general public?
With the general public, I don't think so hot. With the Blue Beetle fan base, which is apparently rabid, Michael.
Oh yeah, massive.
I had no idea about this, but he's a real home run for Latino representation in film.
Oh, one of your favourites.
Yeah, I love Latino representation in film, Michael, as you know.
That's why you were saying you loved The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou so much.
No. Remember I said that's why I don't like The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, because someone who doesn't enjoy Latino representation in film is probably Wes Anderson.
You took him down a peg there, Ben.
Yeah, I've really taught multi-millionaire Wes Anderson a thing or two. Come here to me.
Yes, what is it?
Come here to me. Esht, right? This is centered around Jamie Reyes, Michael, and it's based on a comic run. Jaime Reyes, sorry, you're absolutely right. Jaime Reyes, Michael, and it's based on the comic run from back in the day when DC did their first big reboot. Back in the mid-2000s?
Oh, that wasn't their first big reboot. Sure, Crisis on Infinite Earths was in the 80s, wasn't it?
Sorry, I meant their first... Sorry, the first one when I was alive. The first one that I... first one I remember, Michael, is that one. And it's based on that. And it's about Jaime Reyes. And Jaime Reyes...
Was that the New 52 bit?
Yeah, it was the New 52, Michael. The New 52.
Okay.
And Jaime Reyes was the Blue Beetle of the New 52.
Okay.
Traditionally played by a white man, Michael, Ted Cord.
Ted Cord, yeah.
Who was best pals with one Booster Gold.
Yeah. A real classic kind of Batman-esque character. The bassist, Ben, you'll remember. He's from Carlton Comics, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
And he was the basis for Owlman and Watchmen.
He was indeed. He was 100% the basis for Owlman and Watchmen. He has the same kind of weird bug-shaped thing. We got a glimpse of that in the trailer, Michael. We saw the original, the Cordmobile or the Beetlemobile.
Yeah. What's going on?
So
Are we going to have both?
One of the things that really, I think we're probably going to have a touch of both, Michael, to it. One of the things I really enjoyed about it, number one, was the body horror element. That transformation was terrifying stuff.
Very Venom-esque.
Very Venom-esque, but even more kind of unnerving. That was a very alarming transformation sequence. Good old-fashioned Alien vibes with a face hugger. Crawling up the old spine and then transforming your son and cousin into a monster. Terrible, terrifying stuff.
But not a monster. Iron Man.
Iron Man, yes, from space.
Yeah.
Iron Man from space. So the Blue Beetle Scarab, Michael, in the New 52 continuity is an alien exosuit that bonds with a host.
Yes.
And they bond with a host, and then you become a super warrior. This was handled very well, Michael. I don't know if you remember Injustice. Not Injustice. No.
The New 52.
No. This is going to drive me nuts now. Young Justice. What? There we go.
Young Justice.
The cartoon series had an entire arc in season 2 based on Jaime Reyes and the threat that the Beetle Scarabs represent. So they belong to a collective hive mind in space, Michael. And they bond people to the Scarabs and then take them over. And the host doesn't actually have a say in what they do anymore.
Sounds a lot like the symbiotes from Venom.
It does sound an awful lot like that, Michael. But that was handled very well in that. So I thought it looked quite good, Michael.
It looked all right. Yeah, it looked like Jaime Reyes is a Hispanic Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to get strong Hispanic Spider-Man vibes. But then again...
Yeah, or as you say, Ben, a Spider-Man.
Yes, a Spider-Man. And yeah, so in general, Michael... I think it looked quite good. I thought the special effects were quite neat. I enjoyed the sword, the big long anime sword thing that he makes.
Very Buster Sword from Final Fantasy VII. Ben, how is he not just Iron Man though? It looks like it's nanotechnology. So he's just blue Iron Man.
One of the things, he is essentially blue Iron Man, Michael, but it's aliens.
Oh, it's aliens this time.
It's aliens this time. Susan Sarandon is in it, Michael.
Susan Sarandon wants the Blue Beetle.
Susan Sarandon wants the Blue Beetle because it's her weapon.
Oh, she an alien.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a classic La Familia vibe, Michael, because you can't make a Latino movie without referencing the Vin Diesel playbook of La Familia.
La Familia.
So Jaime Reyes, one of the interesting things I thought, even purely from an original point of view, is transforming in front of your entire family. It's
for the first time.
Yeah, it's not a terrifying moment alone like it was for Spider-Man or other superheroes. This happens right in front of his family, and they are with him all the way. They're just like, okay, well,
this is great.
Yeah, this is good news, and it's going to be interesting. I actually, for a movie I had no idea was coming out, I'm quite excited. I think it could be very good.
I'll tell you what, I'll go and see it. I wonder where it fits in the universe. Who bloody knows? Although there does seem to be a Batman.
Yeah, he's a fascist. That was my favourite quote from the entire trailer.
Very good.
It's kind of like Batman. Batman's a fascist. I was like, yeah, sold.
Well, that would tickle your wickle, wouldn't it, Comrade Colopy?
Comrade Colopy, that's me.
Sure look, Ben. Sure listen. One of the things you've been saying over the last couple of weeks and months...
Oh, I don't like where this is going.
And particularly with The Little Mermaid coming up was... you just
like this.
You just love Disney live-action remakes. But your biggest problem with them is that you have to wait so long. Why couldn't they just release them straight away? Why not release the animated film and the live action film at the same time? And you could go see them one after the other, or perhaps even watch them on two screens simultaneously.
Michael, that does sound very much like something I would say. And you'll note from my Twitter campaign, #2screens@once. I have always pushed for simultaneous live action animated releases. Michael, I have always wanted to see that in the cinema. ever since the early days of Aladdin, Michael. I've wanted that.
Yeah.
But today, Michael, I'm happy to say, after much lobbying of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, we have actually made massive strides towards hashtag.
Oh, great.
One movie, two screens.
Yeah.
And it turns out we're getting a live action Moana about 3 years after the film. No, it's longer than that, Michael, but
it might be closing in on 10 years for Moana, but it doesn't feel that long.
It doesn't feel that long, Michael. It certainly doesn't. But we are getting a live action Moana announced by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And I was just saying to you, Michael, I don't think I like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson anymore.
You've gone off him, Ben.
I've gone off him.
Despite leading the charge for your new favourite thing, hashtag buy cinema.
I just feel like he's up to something shifty.
What's he up to?
I feel like he's got old man ego now.
Oh, go on.
I feel like he was like the top dog for a very long time in Hollywood, like deservedly so. He was a big, kind of larger than life, charismatic dude.
But he was always in the jungle.
Yeah, he was always in the jungle, always taking a swing at things.
Wearing a kind of tan vest.
Wearing a tan vest. And I feel like, Michael, cinema and also the cinema going public has possibly moved on a fraction there.
Go on.
And we certainly have, be it true or not, Michael, Cape fatigue.
Yes.
And I feel like some of his projects, in particular Black Adam, which are his personal projects more than anything else, where he kind of invests in them, I feel like they don't go as well for him, and now I feel like he's a bit bitter about it, and I find it very interesting to watch him kind of unravel.
Black Adam has not done him any favours, especially not once the rumours start swirling that he torpedoed Henry Cavill and Shazam 2.
Yeah, so I think that's unfortunately quite true. And it's, I don't know, I just get shifty vibes off him. He has alpha ego. Do you know what I mean? Where it's just like, it's all right not to be front and center. He's like, but I'm great. I was great back in the day. And I'm like, yeah, key phrase, back in the day.
Look at the size of my muscles.
Look at the size of my muscles. Assumedly he will play Maui in the live action version, which
I don't know, Ben. I don't know, because we only saw this about 5 minutes before we started recording, so we haven't really had time to digest it. But also, because it was St. April Fool's Day at the weekend, I spent a lot of the weekend ignoring announcements.
Yeah.
I'm trying to filter out things that weren't true.
That's fair.
So this nearly didn't make it through my bullshit scope.
Yeah, it's been a tough week for pop culture podcasting, Michael.
Dreadful stuff.
I added about 6 things to the Notion and then realised, fuck.
Oh, that's fake.
That's fake as fuck. And it ruined things for me, Michael. April Fools.
What were some of your favourites, Ben?
There was a Batman one announced for I can't remember.
Oh, Clayface, is that real?
No, I think those are actually real. Those are
is that real?
Those are actually happening. We're getting a Clayface, a Scarecrow, and a Poison Ivy movie.
Oh, really?
Or a series. I'll have to come back to that. But anyway, we managed to survive, Michael, and it turns out we're getting a live action Moana from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and I think it's kind of a shame because one of the things.
Shame The Rock Johnson.
Shame The Rock Johnson. Shame. One of the things that was quite positive about Moana and that a lot of people responded to was the fact that Maui is not a large, muscular man. Well, he is a very muscular man, but he's a very accurate representation of the Polynesian physique.
Yeah. Well, so is The Rock, because The Rock is Polynesian.
Well, that's true. That's true. He's also an accurate representation of the thing. And being as I would imagine he's tried to get into Wes Anderson movies over the last couple of years, and Wes Anderson is just like, yeah, we'll set something up later. I'd say.
Do you have any white friends?
I'd say he's just like, yeah. Do you have any white pals that you'd like to be?
Yeah. How's Triple H doing these days? We'll get him in here.
How is John Cena doing?
Yeah.
And yeah, Michael. So I think we'll probably. The live action ones are terrible, Michael.
No, who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
I don't care. I don't care at all. I found it hard a few years ago, Ben, to kind of fathom people who seemed to be just against superhero movies because we were so deep in them. And if someone said to me like, I just don't really care about all this superhero shit, I was like, yeah, you're just saying that because you want to sound counterculture. And now that's exactly how I feel about Disney live action remakes. And so I apologise to everyone who I sneered at when they said they didn't like superhero films.
Yeah, I think at a certain point some things are just jading. They're just like, oh God, okay. I guess that's happening again.
Yeah, let's have Moana again. Great stuff. With Triple H as,
With Triple H as
Maui.
Maui. Yeah. That'd be great. Directed by Wes Anderson.
I'd see it. I'd see it, Ben. I'd see it for the absurdity.
Just for the absurdity, Michael. Speaking of absurd things, Michael, I've been watching The Mandalorian.
Oh, very good. Have you been watching it with your pal Gina Carano?
Gina Carano's not in it anymore, Michael, because she's a noted anti-vaxxer and a bit of a right-winger.
Oh, and you can't be on television if you're those things.
Well, you can, you're just not allowed to say it out loud.
Ah, very
That's
good.
all.
Okay, that seems, that sounds like a good recipe.
That's the difference. We were looking at the career of Letitia Wright, who very quickly copped on and had several managers go, hey.
Yeah. Oh, I love vaccines.
Rein it in.
Oh, I love them. I love vaccines.
You stand to be the next Black Panther. Suck it up.
I love the government. I love, what else do I love?
Paychecks.
Tell me what I love. I'll shill for it.
I love paychecks. I've been watching The Mandalorian, Michael. I watched the latest 3 episodes of The Mandalorian because I took a little break there in the middle. And what we got, Michael, was what an up and down slog, Michael. So episode 3 of The Mandalorian, Michael.
Yes.
Brought us back. Sorry, episode 4 of The Mandalorian, if you're keeping count, Michael. Brought us back face to face with the little scientist fella from season 1 who was trying to clone Baby Yodes.
Oh, I don't remember him.
Yeah, nobody did, Michael. And that's why it was so weird that I decided to dedicate an entire episode to him.
Oh, very good.
His story now. And we got to see Coruscant, Michael, and how it was coping after the Empire has fallen. And we got to witness their amnesty program for former officers of the Empire.
Oh, that's interesting. Potentially.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, no, potentially.
It would have been, except that nobody asked for it, Michael, in a show about bounty hunters and cute little green aliens.
Oh, where was the Mandalorian while all this was going on?
Oh, nothing to do with it, Michael. It was a side story. It's a secondary storyline.
So, because they put 2 episodes of The Mandalorian in the middle of Book of Boba Fett, they then didn't have enough Mandalorian for The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. And could they have put the missing episodes of Boba Fett in there, maybe?
Maybe.
But they didn't.
But they didn't.
All right.
Michael, fascinating, right? Fascinating choice. Not badly acted, not badly put together, completely different show.
Oh, great. Who's in it?
It's bizarre, Michael. It's such a strange choice by them because it's got nothing to do with the main continuity. I mean, it does. It's supposed to hint at the return of Moff Gideon.
Moffy G.
And we find out that... excuse me.
Where are you going? He's doing some sort of sneezing.
I had a sniffle there. But we find out that there's an inside agent in the New Republic.
Oh.
And she's feeding information back to old Moffy G.
I knew it was Moffy G the whole time, even though I wasn't aware if he was still alive or not.
Yeah, so this is what we've slowly been discovering. So, Michael, then we return in the next episode to a good old-fashioned bounty hunting bonanza.
Oh, go on.
But it is, in fact, another episode of, Jesus, Mandalorians aren't great at this, are they?
This is some of the best content.
So, what happens here, Michael, is we open on the beach wedding, circa 2001, as we did before.
Back to the beach wedding, okay.
Back to the beach wedding, Michael, in the Enclave. And all the little Mandos are training, all the foundlings, Ki.
Yes.
And they're learning to train. And what happens is, Michael, bloody Prime Mando, Pedro Mando,
yes,
he puts young Grogu up to it. He says, go on, show them what you can do. And in fairness to little baby Yodes, he uses a little bit of force and he does a little flip. And he sorts himself out and it's great stuff. And then, Michael, the opponent that he defeats goes and stands by the lake.
Oh, yeah.
And then, Michael, not a giant crocodile this time, but a giant bat reptile.
What's coming out of that lake?
Swoops down from off screen and carries the child away.
Uh-oh.
Now, Michael, I thought, what a terrible thing to have happen. And the Mandos give chase. We've got Paz Vizsla, otherwise known as Gatling Gun Mando.
Oh, Gatling Gun Mando has a name. Great stuff.
Gatling Gun Mando. And they give chase using the old jetpacks. But Michael, they run out of jetpack fuel.
Oh, that's bad planning.
And the big bird gets away. And then Paz Vizsla turns to Din Djarin and says, he got away like every other time. And I went, what? Every other time? Is this a frequent fucking occurrence? And we come back and we find out that, yes, it is in fact a frequent occurrence where this weird bat reptile thing will swoop down and steal a child.
So, hold on a second then. A few weeks ago when they got attacked by that big giant swamp alligator and they weren't ready for it, they were actually expecting to be attacked by a bat reptile.
Yeah.
And they were just similarly poorly prepared.
Fucking ridiculous, Michael.
Absolute muppets.
So the Mandalorians mount a counter-assault, Michael, and they save the young foundling, who it turns out is Paz Vizsla's son in this, which brings up a whole list of questions about the Death Order and keeping your helmet on during, just as you make your final thrusts and say, this is the way, this is the way, this is the way. And yeah, bizarre episode, Michael. And then we finished the latest episode, Michael, is where the bloody Mandalorians return to the Mos Eisley-esque town that they all go to with Carl Weathers.
Oh yeah, is it not Mos Eisley?
It's not. Oh, maybe it is. I can't fully remember. It's one of the Star Wars towns.
A classic Star Wars town. Yeah,
a classic Star Wars town.
Yeah. And
Michael, it turns out that Gorian Shard, the Pirate King from Episode 1, has returned, and he just bombs the. Michael, you got to keep up. Remember, I told you about the Jim Henson Muppet?
Oh, from Episode 1 of Season 3.
Episode 1 of Season 3, Michael.
Yeah, not Episode 1. Episode 1.
No, Episode 1 of Season 3, Michael. And we got Space Cop back. The fella from Kim's Convenience, whose name escapes me.
Oh, I forgot his name.
Pat something?
No, I don't think so. I can't remember.
Anyway, he's back, and he alerts the Mandalorian to the fact that old Grief Karga, or Carl Weathers as he's known, needs his help. And he goes to sort it out, and Grief Karga makes a deal with the Mandalorians that they can set up a little above-ground enclave and kind of settle in their roots, and they can live as part of the community. And it's a lovely moment, Michael. They defeat all the pirates. And then, Michael, there's a little cameo from Star Wars Rebels. I don't even ever watch Star Wars Rebels.
I did.
You did? It's the big purple fella.
Oh, the big purple kind of knockoff Wookiee, the guy who was based off
knockoff Wookiee.
The early Ralph McQuarrie drawings for Chewie.
Yeah. So we got him in live action.
Oh, how exciting!
Yeah, he has a 2-minute cameo in the bar.
Oh, it sounds expensive.
Where he talks to Kim's Convenience Space Cop.
Paul Sung-hyung
Lee. Thank you. And Michael, look, it's got some of its oomph back. It's missing the dark tone, I think, that was set up in Season 2. I will never forget the Season 2 episode of The Mandalorian, where the one with Bill Burr, and that
was a very good one, yeah.
They come up against the horrors of what the Empire did, both to their own soldiers and, to other communities. What a great episode, Michael, that we're never going to get again.
No. It's in the phase of diminishing returns, isn't it? Let's be honest.
It's just in the phase of it's just in the phase of we should probably make this more towards children because we can do more merchandising with kids and
great stuff altogether. Benjamin, as we are simultaneously witnessing the decline of the superhero genre and the Star Wars genre, are we simultaneously witnessing the rise of the TTRPG based fantasy adventure genre?
That was a buttery smooth transition, Michael. Well done.
Thank you very much. Because if it is, then we'll survive, Benjamin. The podcast will live on. Because it just about tickles our wickle enough that we'll be able to keep covering it.
Yeah, we'll just talk about swords and sandals, Michael. And in fairness, we've never really based any of our continuing podcasting on success, thankfully.
That's true. That's fair enough. Anyway, Ben, we saw Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves last week, but we can talk about it not necessarily any more in depth this week, but a little bit more specifically, because we're not so worried about spoilers, because everyone who's going to be worried about spoilers has probably already seen it.
Yeah, so we're going to do spoilers from here on out, ladies and gentlemen, just so you're aware. If you wouldn't like to do that, go take a look at the timestamps down below in the description. They've helpfully been put there by one Mick.
Thank you very much. Ben, can I start with a gripe?
Go on, you give me a gripe.
My biggest gripe that we couldn't really talk about last week revolved around my personal favourite character of Zenk the Paladin.
Zenk
the Paladin, played by Regé Jean. You know what? I'm just thinking it's probably pronounced Paget if his first name is Regé. We need to ask him.
I think it's Reggie.
Is it?
I think most people call him Reggie.
Is it Reggie Jean? So it's Reggie Jean Page?
I would imagine. I would imagine it's Regé Jean Page. But I think a lot of people just call him Reggie. We'll ask him. Look, I'll reach out to him and I'll ask him to come on the podcast.
We'll ask him. We'll get him on the podcast.
Can
Anyway, Benjamin.
Can you imagine if he says yes?
Oh, yeah, it'd be great. We'll get him on here. Ben.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
I don't know.
What I was saying was everything about the advertising of this movie makes it seem like he is one of the core members of their adventuring band.
Oh, we got hooked, Michael.
Where they fooled us big time because he's not. It's an extended cameo at best.
At best, Michael.
He's probably in it 20 minutes.
And he gets some top billing, and I was not impressed. I was like, oh, the fucking phone.
The absolute temerity of you to lure us in here with Lord Bridgerton himself and then have him be a cool kick-ass character with a detachable sword and then to walk off across the beach and we're thinking, oh, is he going to come back at the denouement? No, because when they made this, he was considerably less famous.
Really? Is that what it is?
Well, I think that's why he's got such high billing.
Oh, it's kind of a Scream 6 Jenna Ortega vibe.
Yes, exactly, Benjamin. We can't hypothesize, as we did in your most popular ever TikTok, that Regé Jean Page isn't in this. It's just a marketing scam. But he's in it nowhere near as much as the marketing would let you know, would make you believe.
Yeah, we were hook, lined and sinkered, Michael, by the marketing execs over at D&D.
But he was great in it, wasn't he?
He was very enjoyable. Michael, very reminiscent of your own play style come D&D.
Oh, go on.
A very literal man.
Very literal fellow altogether.
Very...
A touch of the Drax about him.
Yeah, not a lot of room for the subtleties of human interaction.
No. Why would you?
Why would you, Michael? Why would you waste your time with such things? Michael,
exactly.
I thought I still fondly remember having seen this film.
It was only 2 weeks ago now, Mike.
I think it's a great film, Michael. I think they did a wonderful job. I only found out, Michael, that it's John Francis Daly.
Oh, one of your favourites, Freaks and Geeks' own John Francis Daly.
Him off the Freaks and Geeks who used to play all the D&D. He wrote and directed.
Him off of playing Dr. Sweets in several seasons of Bones.
Yeah. Him.
The big, tall, gangly fella.
So he writes loads of films, Michael.
Yes.
Big films. Spider-Man Homecoming, like.
For example. And, Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves.
Very good, Michael. Very well played. Yeah.
Anyway, what else are we going to talk about? Hugh Grant, Ben.
Hugh Grant, what a man.
Hugh Grant is just having gas crack altogether, isn't he?
I think Hugh Grant has reached a point, Michael, where he's just like, well, fuck all this.
Yes, well, fuck it all anyway. I'm going to play the same characters on screen as I do in interviews and as I do on the red carpet, and I don't give a flying shit.
I think it might just be Hugh Grant. I'm actually not certain he's acting at all.
They didn't ask him to portray them.
I think he just doesn't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
And that's great, because he's probably in a career phase that he didn't expect. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he thought he'd get his second wind in films like Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves or Paddington 2, for example.
Or Paddington 2 or Glass Onion.
Or Glass Onion. Well, in fairness, an admitted bizarre cameo, but yes. But yeah, I mean, I don't think he expected that. I mean, it's great that he got it, but I really don't think he expected it, Michael. And now I think he's just like, well, I'm just going to have fun with it then.
Can we speak, Benjamin, about what I think was the biggest wasted opportunity for a surprise cameo?
Well, go on.
There's a surprise cameo, Ben. We're led up a garden path on who's Holga's ex-husband going to be.
Yeah.
And then it is a Hollywood A-lister.
Is he an A-lister anymore?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he is. He is.
Right.
He's a Hollywood A-lister.
All right.
Everyone in the cinema knew who it was straight away. And he's a bit of a special effects creature, and it's quite amusing. But over and above everything, the sheer disappointment that it wasn't Vin Diesel just breaks my heart.
I don't think I even would have taken Vin Diesel, Michael. I don't know who it should have been, but it shouldn't have been one Bradley Cooper.
Oh, you're revealing it. Okay. I just think there are so many famous D&D celebrities that
Joe
could have
Manganiello.
could have been Joe Manganiello, could have been Vincent Diesel. It could have been her who played Karen Page in Daredevil.
Deborah Ann Wall.
It could have been anybody like that. It could have been any of the cast of the hit streaming series Critical Role.
Yeah, Matt Mercer.
Could have been Matt Mercer. Anyone. But Bradley Cooper. I think they were going for a kind of Matt Damon. Oh, look, it's a surprise Matt Damon cameo.
But even then, Matt Damon would have been better.
Even Matt Damon would have been funnier
than
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper, I just don't get it.
Yeah, no, it
felt
very much like a wasted opportunity for an awesome comedy cameo.
You said a couple of weeks ago, Michael, nothing should be sacred in comedy. The only thing that I ask is that it be funny.
Yes.
It just wasn't funny.
No, it wasn't funny at all.
It was just a small Bradley Cooper.
It's just a little small Bradley Cooper. He was normal proportions. He was just smaller.
And I was just like, what? Why do you think this is funny? Like, what is this? And
he wasn't a hobbit, Ben. He was just normal Bradley Cooper, but smaller.
I think he's supposed to be a gnome.
Was he a gnome or a halfling?
All right, I'm not sure, Michael. But either way, bullshit.
Gas crack altogether.
A bit of a wasted opportunity. But then again, Michael, the whole thing is fucking great. What a film.
Do you hope, Benjamin, that this will be the start of a new genre of movie making?
I don't really, Michael, because I think that Hollywood needs to learn the lesson of one success does not a franchise make.
True.
I really think Marvel has changed things irreparably in the movie making business, Michael, and we've seen various attempts to replicate the Marvel experiment come and go and fail.
The Dark
Universe, DCU,
Kong Monsterverse.
Kong Monsterverse. They've tried to replicate this, and the fact of the matter is, it only worked once for a certain amount of time, mainly because of the vast novelty of creating such an extended universe. And very good writing towards a fairly sizable payoff.
Yeah. And I mean, also, the star power of Robert Downey Jr. carried a lot of that.
He carried. I think it's so funny that you kind of forget about the original heavy hitters now. Chris Evans, but Robert Downey Jr. in particular, Michael, what a huge star at the time.
Oh yeah, and like a massive hole left in the MCU by him not being there, and they really grasping at straws to try and fill it. But that's neither here nor there for what we're talking about. Yeah. I'm hoping, Benjamin, that this is going to be the start of that genre of not necessarily D&D, not necessarily fantasy, but kind of motley crew teaming up to go on adventure movies.
Oh, I think we'll probably see more of that, Michael. I think we're headed for an inevitable D&D inspired storytelling universe.
Yes.
I think Hasbro has dodged quite the bullet in having this film do so well.
Yes, they were really at a big risk. It was a big risk for Hasbro.
But they also fucked up royally by messing with their license.
Yes,
just before
the
this
OGL scandal.
But I also find it very funny, Michael, that they had references to things like Critical Role in there, with things like fresh cut grass. So they know themselves how dependent they are on independent contractors taking their material and pushing it. And I would argue that actual play podcasts like Critical Role and
Dimension 20,
to a lesser extent Dimension 20, they were key in opening up this kind of mass appeal of D&D.
Absolutely.
Also, think it's fascinating that I would imagine this came very much on the heels of Vox Machina Season 1.
I wouldn't say so. No, this would have had to have been made around the same time, if not before.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind. But
no, I don't think they saw Vox Machina Season 1 and said, roll out a $200 million movie.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. But in general, Michael, I think Hasbro has come out of this fucking lucky.
Very, very, very lucky. And like desperately in need. Well, I mean, I say desperately in need of steering onto the right track. Nobody likes the Transformers movies, but they do make money.
They do make money. I can't understand. I don't understand the cinema going public, Michael. I really don't.
You don't get them.
I don't get them, Michael. And it's possibly autism, and it's possibly a general disdain for other people. But, you know, it could be one or the other. But they do make money. The Transformers movies, they keep getting made, so they must make money.
It's interesting, though, Ben, because we have this major kind of entertainment corporation in Hasbro. You know, they make toys and games and books and other things, and they spread their wings into cinema. But they seem to have kept a very tight control over what they wanted presented up on the big screen, which isn't always the case.
Mm. Well, yeah, that's true, Michael. You and I have suffered this week.
That was a fucking great segue.
That was a great segue, spoiled by me.
Going, what? What's he talking about?
What's he talking about? That was a great segue, Michael. We watched a film where they gave up all creative control.
But before that, we had a poll. Are you all right, Ben? Are you having an episode?
We did. I have got such a high temperature at the moment, Michael. I am literally seeing spots. It's
He's smoking, ladies and gentlemen.
I am bizarrely warm. It's not great.
Anyway, Ben, shut up for a second. We put a poll up on the Instagram, and we said, what was the best classic not comic book movie, video game movie?
Yeah.
Because you can't throw a brick these days without hitting either a video game movie or the back of Chris Hemsworth's head.
Look at everywhere.
We had a look at some of the most prominent early runners in the industry, Ben. We put 4 up. We put 1993's Super Mario Bros., the first ever adaptation of a video game. Would you believe?
Is it?
Oh yeah, 1993. Then we also put up my personal favourite, Mortal Kombat, which is great. It's got Christopher Lambert, and he's going, ha ha ha. And it's got, I can't remember how he does it. And then we put up a Street Fighter, Benjamin, based on your favourite Kylie Minogue property. Yep. And funnily enough, that was kind of it for major ones from the 90s. So we had to stretch our goal a little bit and go into the early 2000s.
We hyperextended.
A little bit, and we put up Tomb Raider. And I tell you what, our most highly contested poll yet.
Yeah. We had lots of interest, but also lots of confusion.
Go on.
It was highly contested, Michael. But it seems to be the Tomb Raider has pulled ahead.
Yeah, Tomb Raider has pulled ahead in the end with 40% of the votes.
What the fuck?
Mad stuff. Probably the best film of the 4, though. Well, I still prefer Mortal Kombat.
I don't know if you could call it a good film, Michael, could you?
Mortal Kombat?
No, Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider, nah, you might. It's not awful.
I remember that being at the height of Angelina Jolie's kind of star power.
Yes.
And I remember people were more excited about the fact that it was going to be Angelina Jolie than
Lara Croft.
That it was going to be Lara Croft, I think. I don't know. I find that such an interesting one, you know. But yeah, look, Michael, that pulled ahead. And in second place there, I can't remember what was in second place.
I think they're pretty close. It was Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat. You're a man of fine taste, Michael.
Exactly, Benjamin. We even had a couple of comments from the gram. We had a comment from my good friend and yours, Nisha.
Yeah. Hi, Nisha.
And he reckons the best is probably Mortal Kombat. And he knows all about video games, Benjamin, because he is Retro Gamer Ireland.
He is, so he would know.
He would know. But he also says Mario Brothers is pretty good, Street Fighter is pretty good, and Tomb Raider has its moments. So it's a real non-committal answer there.
Yeah, it was very, very safe all-rounder. It's probably why he's so popular, Michael.
Exactly. And then we had Stephen saying none of them were any good.
Excuse me, I feel that Stephen.
Yes, go on.
You and your negative energy coming in here.
No, I think that missed the point
Stephen?
of... Yes, yeah.
Oh, it's our Stephen. Oh, good.
Yeah. Oh, no, hold on. Well, it's a Stephen we have in common. I don't know.
No, wait, hang on.
I don't know what Stephen you would consider him to be our Stephen.
Our DM Stephen.
No, different Stephen.
Oh, no. Then I can't bully that Stephen. I'm sorry to the other Stephen.
There's too many Stevens.
I can only bully the one Stephen, and if it's not that Stephen, I shan't bully any Stevens at all.
Anyway, Benjamin.
Yeah.
We watched the film that scored the lowest on the poll.
Yeah.
1993's Super Mario Bros.
Yeah, Michael, look, this is bizarre. This is
Mad shit.
fucking mental, Michael. So, this is the most 90s movie you could think of
Yes.
that has nothing to do with the property it's attached to.
Absolutely shag all. It's from a very interesting time, Ben, when movies and video games did not see each other. Yeah. And when video games were licensing themselves out to be movies, they didn't really care what the movie did.
Why?
Because it was seen as a whole other genre and nothing to do with the game. And, you know, essentially Nintendo told the movie producers, yeah, just run with it. You know, do whatever, do Mario, whatever.
So, Michael, this is a bizarre film. It stars Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo as a very young man, and bloody Dennis Hopper, right?
Yes, Dennis Hopper, yeah. And Samantha Mathis, if we're going to... You know, since we're throwing around accusations of misogyny.
I'm a noted misogynist, Michael, several times out of 10.
Female face blindness, I think.
Female face blindness is what you call it. But yeah, come here to me. Michael, this is a bizarre film that takes the names of the characters. Mario,
yes.
Luigi,
yes.
Koopa. They don't even use Bowser. And then we have Peach. No, we don't have Peach. Sorry, there's no Peach. There's Daisy.
No, it's Daisy. Yeah.
There's Daisy and there's Daniela. Daniela has nothing to do with this.
Daniela is great.
I thought Daniela was a reference to Mario's original girlfriend in the Donkey Kong barrel throwing game. Remember that one?
Oh, very good. Okay.
But she's Pauline.
Oh, well, you know, he gets about.
He does. Mario's an El Charmer.
He's an El Lothario, yeah.
So, Michael, this is in the vein of a lot of 90s movies at the time.
Yes.
It's Waterworld meets, you know,
Total Recall.
Meets Total Recall. It's bizarre. It's a dystopian thing. It's New York is the greatest fucking city on earth kind of vibes, you know. It's bizarre, Michael.
There's a touch of Demolition Man
There's
about
a lot of Demolition Man about this. So it's bizarre, right? And I thought originally when I was going to watch it, Michael, that it was going to be terribly acted.
No, it's not.
It's not. It's not.
No, it's got a hell of a cast.
It just makes no sense.
It's got my favourite actor and yours, Ben, Fisher Stevens.
Who's Fisher Stevens, Michael?
He plays one of the Koopas, one of the smart ones.
Oh.
The two brothers who were tracking her down.
Yeah, they're gas. They're a lot of fun,
They're gas
Michael.
crack altogether,
One of my favourite things with them, it's Spike and... I can't remember the name of the other fella.
Iggy?
Iggy, yeah, Spike and Iggy. Spike and Iggy, Michael, go through an evolution process where they become more intelligent. But apparently the screenwriters assumed that more intelligent was having read a dictionary.
Yeah, they just knew more words.
They knew more words, but they have no possible understanding of
just as big idiots.
Anything else. No understanding of anything else. And it's bizarre.
What I love about it, Ben, one of my favourite things about it is that it was made in the 90s, so everything is just a little bit inappropriately sexy and sleazy.
Yeah, it's so sleazy, Michael.
It's great.
It's so
Benjamin,
sleazy.
If you ever worry what's wrong with me, all you have to remember is that that's when I grew up.
Yeah, it explains a lot about you. It does. There's a lot of gaps that get filled when I watch a 90s piece of content and I'm like,
Yeah. Everything was inappropriately sexy and sleazy. Like Koopa has, when he kidnaps his Princess Daisy, he has her dressed up in a nice little revealing ball gown. What are you looking for?
My dog is running around in the room.
Tell her to stop.
I'm just trying to keep her quiet. She's gone
Tell
again.
her to stop.
She's gone again now. What a day to podcast, Michael.
Brilliant day of podcasting. Every podcast is someone's first podcast.
Go on.
We had Ireland's own Fiona Shaw.
Fiona Shaw's in this fucking film, Michael.
As an unnecessarily sexy henchwoman.
Why is Fiona Shaw in this film? And why did it make me feel things?
It's great, isn't it? It's great how we have the bouncer who steals the crystal from them.
Big Bertha.
Big Bertha, and she's kind of like a big giant
Amazonian black
dominatrix
woman.
bouncer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Great sleazy 90s stuff.
I can't make sense of the city itself, Michael. So the central premise of this film, and you may as well forget everything you know about Super Mario because it's not relevant. But in this, Michael, for some reason, when the dinosaurs were made extinct by a comet, they weren't made extinct. They were transferred into a parallel dimension to our own. And
Yes.
I didn't realize, Michael, when I was setting in to watch this film, I assumed that meant that they were dinosaur people. I had seen some of the stills of,
Yes.
the weird Koopa-headed fellas, the little headed
The little
fellas.
heads, yeah.
And I assumed that everyone would be like that because it was dinosaurs. No, they're just people.
They're people who evolve. They're just people who evolved from dinosaurs in the same way that we evolved from apes.
What a load of bullshit.
Yeah, well, it's a 90s science fiction, fantasy, weird universe film.
So what we then find out, Michael, is they built one city.
Yes.
One city. That's it. Just the one.
Yeah.
In a desert.
Yeah.
The desert, I thought we were finally going to get some classic Mario levels when Mario went to the desert. No.
No, there's no Mario levels. It's all just it's 2000 ADs of the cursed Earth.
Oh, it's fucking bizarre, Michael. What a weird film.
There's a lot of Judge Dredd about it too, actually, now that I think about it.
There's a lot of Judge Dredd in this. The city itself, Michael, is fucking chaos.
Yeah, it's great.
Everybody is beating each other up. There's the bizarre granny that asks the lads do they have a weapon and then starts to fucking try and steal all their stuff.
Yeah, she's my favourite.
She's a brilliant character, Michael. Doesn't belong in a Super Mario film.
She does. You remember you jump on her head in World 1-3.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Granny Koopa. But yeah, this is so interesting to me, Michael, because it's not a Super Mario film. You could
Well, it is. It's called Super Mario
but you
Bros.
could have made this as any other property, Michael, with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo.
But it's about two New York plumbers who get pulled into a dinosaur world where everyone's toadstools.
So this is the bit that annoys me the most, Michael. I was looking forward to some cute bloody 90s papier-mâché toad people.
No, you don't get any of that.
And what I got, Michael, was a Cronenberg nightmare. Michael,
it's a good time for fungus, isn't it?
I have never been so disgusted by a movie prop. My skin crawled every time the fungus got involved. I was just like, no, I don't like the weird, bizarre scenes where she's talking to her father in the fungus sack.
Yeah, he's a fungus.
And he's just drooling Michael, very, very disarming as a concept.
I think I'd get on well with her dad. He seemed like a real fun guy.
Very well played, Michael. Very well played.
Thank you.
But come here to me, Michael. Come here to me.
What is it?
I just can't understand this film. So Koopa is played by Dennis Hopper, right?
Yeah, I thought it was Rutger Hauer, but it's not. It's Dennis Hopper.
It's Dennis Hopper being Dennis Hopper. Dennis Hopper ended up playing this role a lot. Waterworld is the exact same character. I think there's a few others in there as well.
Super Mario Bros.
I'll look up some other ones now in a second. But it's such... First of all, there's a Chekhov's gun moment that's set up and never let go of, where Mario slightly devolves him. And we see a little burst of Tyrannosaurus DNA
eyeball
once or twice. And it never comes to full fruition until he's hit with the devolution ray later on, which I think is a shame, Michael. I think you'd sown the seeds to have him morph into a big monstery fella at a later point. Then there's the whole, his partner is Fiona Shaw?
Or assistant? I don't know.
Assistant, love interest, side piece? I don't know.
Ireland's own Fiona Shaw.
Fiona Shaw. Much better than this film. But he goes full Lech, Michael. He becomes obsessed with Daisy.
Yeah.
And he doesn't need Daisy for much other than to stick the fucking Peter meteorite into the thing. And, Michael, that's the other bit I couldn't wrap my head around. Why is Daisy so important in this film? Why not make her Peach? Why did it have to be John Leguizamo and the love interest? So interesting.
Wait, hold on. I'm no great Mario fan then. Which one's Daisy and which one's Peach?
Daisy is Luigi's girlfriend. So that's the correct choice.
Okay.
And Peach is Mario's girlfriend.
But what colour does Peach wear?
Pink.
And Daisy wears yellow.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So there's a few moments, Michael, that really chapped my buns, right?
Oh, go on. As a big Mario fan.
As a big Mario fan, or as an accuracy fan, because let's be honest, I'm not a big Mario fan. I don't really care all that
Okay,
much.
go on.
When they go to the nightclub, Michael,
Yes.
they are wearing two garishly coloured suits,
Yes.
mainly so they can make a cross-dressing joke, right?
Brilliant. I love the 90s.
Why wasn't the suit green and bright red? And why did they give the bright red suit to Luigi?
Because they didn't care, Ben.
I know, but it's just shit.
But this movie is as old as you. This is the nascent days of trying to turn video games into movies. And it's much easier nowadays where, like, what did they have to work with when this came out?
Yeah.
He's a plumber, he goes through pipes, he fights dinosaur men and toadstool men.
Yeah, in fairness, animation wasn't anywhere near where it could have been.
No, it was like the only other Mario media, Ben, was a children's cartoon series called Super Mario World.
Oh, yeah.
And it is an absolute abomination of a thing.
Go on, tell me more.
I watched a couple of episodes. In particular, I watched one where Koopa's sons try to join the school that Princess Peach has set up in Dinosaur World.
Right.
And it's dreadful. It doesn't have a tone. The tone is halfway between educational, but also not really teaching any lessons that are worth teaching.
It doesn't sound great.
I know, I was watching it thinking this is going to be a lesson about like acceptance and like people who come from different backgrounds or different cultures. If you invite them into your school and they'll become pleasant members of your society or whatever. Now, whatever about whether that's true or not as a message. I thought that was going to be the message, but then it wasn't. And it just turned into a skit comedy about setting off a volcano and dreadful stuff. I mean, all it really told me was I see why Nintendo nearly dropped the ball and let Sonic gain so much pop culture popularity.
He really did.
Because Mario was so poorly defined back then.
Yeah.
They didn't know what to do with him.
They hadn't a clue.
And he wasn't cool.
No, he certainly wasn't.
And in the cool, lechy 90s, a badass hedgehog, it's no surprise that Sonic nearly snatched away Mario's torch and ran off with it.
Yeah. No, not shocking at all once you see this. And go, exactly. Oh no. No bueno. Michael, there are so many bizarre moments in this film. They thought they were getting a sequel, Michael. They really did. Oh, yeah. There's a little scene at the end where Daisy bursts in. It's like, guys, you'll never guess what's happened. I need you. And then Mario just goes, I believe, and he runs out. Bob Hoskins, what a great big brother, though. In fairness, there are some redeeming qualities here. Bob Hoskins is a very, very, very supportive big brother.
I was constantly waiting for him to give Luigi bad advice for his efforts to seduce Daisy.
No, he was just being a nice person.
And that's his advice. He's just like, just be nice to her. Just,
don't be a dick.
Just be nice to her. Yeah, treat her nice. And I was like, this is weird for the 90s. Don't you mean kidnap her and put her in an exploitative outfit?
That's the interesting thing here. Is Bob Hoskins is playing a blinder as an older brother. His older brother character is defined very, very well. And John Leguizamo is quite enjoyable as the earnest, dopey Luigi.
Luigi Mario.
I would have watched that film, Michael, in New York without the parallel dimension shite. I would have watched an up and down kind of adventure with Iggy and Spike acting the bollocks up and down New York. That I would have watched.
Yeah, it's not great though.
None of it's great, Michael. Look, ladies and gentlemen, maybe we're wrong.
Probably not.
Probably not. You can let us know in a few different places if you've seen the new Super Mario movie, or if you've seen this abomination from 1993. You can get in touch with us in a few different ways. You can find us on the interwebs, www.seanrebuke.com.
It means tiny room in Irish.
It does indeed. You can find us on Instagram at SheLooksListenPodcast.
SheLooksListen in English.
It is. You can also find us on TikTok at SheLookSheListen.
You can.
Yeah, we're up there as well. And And the best way to get in
Yeah.
touch with us, ladies and gentlemen, to share all your
Yes.
pop culture hot takes so that we can copy them and steal them for our own, is to get up on that Discord, baby.
Hop up on it. The link is, as it always is, in the description below.
Yeah, I'm off to go do something from that movie that I had to watch this week.
You're gonna jump through a warp zone.
Yeah.
Du-du-du-du-du-du. Du-
You didn't say see you next Tuesday.
No, I didn't want to. I did
Oh,
the
very
Super
good.
Mario sound.
Very
instead.
good. Very good. All right.